And hey, it's Matt. So Matt is
Hello.
recovering. I think at like maybe an hour of sleep after our alien Earth. I
I
don't know.
got 5 hours of
Oh,
sleep.
good, good. Yeah. So we discussed Alien Earth for half the runtime of the entire series. So I think we covered everything. Yeah, but it was nice we had like kind of differing opinions, so it wasn't like, yeah, that was cool. Yeah, yeah, that was cool too. We weren't
Yeah.
just like going down the list. But yeah, yeah, it was funny. So unfortunately, I will have to re-upload an audio only version of that without any of the video or the thumbnails or screenshots because we got copyright claimed on that. So we'll do an audio only version. It is in our already finished live stream is in the member section of YouTube. So if you'd like to watch it, give us $1 and it's in there and you have 4 hours of your life to watch it. I'll put it on the RSS feed for Patreon and then I'll re-upload maybe with some thumbnails and some kind of, looping background alien-esque graphics the so you can hear the whole thing. So yeah, and thank you to Abyss for joining us just for the first couple of hours. He pulled the
We
ripcord.
were
Was like,
so
again,
long he had to bolt.
yeah, I'm done with this. Yeah, but yeah, it was fun. It's
That's
been a
probably for
while.
the best. It seemed like his blood pressure kept rising the longer we
Right,
talked.
right. Yeah, it's been a while since we talked about a series. It just got really depressing because we originally jumped on, Star Trek Discovery when it was out because we had played the, RPG,
Oh.
and that thing went to hell so fast. We talked about the first couple episodes and then was like, okay, wait, we're not even going to watch this anymore, are we? Yeah. So just like a streaming service, we just kind of abandoned series, on the channel, and just went downhill from there. The subsequent seasons of that. I can't believe Modifius had to do a source book for Star Trek Discovery. I feel sorry for them having to put that together. But yeah, so we'll be up to some Call of Cthulhu. I think we'll finish off the Edge of Darkness, either in a good way or a bad way,
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Ah.
And yeah, it should be good. Then we got to decide if we want to continue to the next one, or if we want to kind of change. If we want to take Cthulhu all through October, Call of Cthulhu, or if we want to do a change of pace. If there's anything else that's beckoning us, so I wouldn't mind going back to Alien. We still have the Heart of
Yeah.
Darkness. That would be horrific as well.
Yeah.
Big
I,
fan.
I, I am, I am, I'm like half done. I'll be honest. I kind of slowed my productivity
Hmm.
recently, but I'm about half done with the indie heat.
Oh, nice.
So,
Okay.
if we time it right, hopefully in the next few weeks I can get that going.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be great. That would be very fun. All right. But yeah, so Chris, so we may have to eventually, unless Matt Matt wants to regularly fill in, we may have to move the time of the weekly. It sounds like Chris's like a weekly meeting is going to coincide with like any sort of lunch period, which they like to do. They like to like force you to eat at your desk, like stuff a rice ball in your mouth at your desk, and that's all you do for the whole day. So yeah, so Chris is stuck in meetings at work around this time. So I guess it couldn't last forever. Being able to take advantage of the proximity and the lunch hour. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see what if things change and whatever.
Well, I mean, I'm usually available, but I don't. I would rather you guys figured it out so that
Yeah,
I don't want Chris. I don't want Chris. I like watching Chris's hot takes,
yeah,
so
definitely.
that would be sad. That would be sad.
Yeah, we can figure something up to do as well that would fit better in this schedule, and things will keep changing. So I'm sure nothing stays the same here. All right. So yeah, oh yeah, so you're talking about in the chat and stuff. Goodman Games looks like they're clearing out Lankmar. 50% off on
Yeah,
all
it's
the
all 50% off. I'm I'm literally putting in my address to order a bunch of it right now.
proving you're a human and ordering as we speak.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, so that makes it a little it feels like they may be losing the license for that if they're getting rid of it. They don't want to they're not going to reprint and they aren't going to be restocking. So that's a little scary.
Yeah.
But good, yeah. If you end up picking up some stuff, and you said there was digital assets as well. They had like some VTT
Hmm.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, a couple of VTT packs. It looks like those are like maps and tokens for corresponding adventures, so they don't include the adventure.
Okay.
Um, so like I got one. It was like I think 250 for the VTT pack and 499 for the adventure. So
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well,
pretty good.
good prices. Yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
Very cool. So yeah, and I put a link in the chat if you scroll up. Yeah, there's a chat to the good or a link to the Goodman Games site in the chat if you want to check that out. Very cool. All right. Well, should we get started for this week? We got some
Yeah.
Kickstarter talk. There's a lot of crowdfunding, but some fun, yeah, some fun stuff. Oh, and something that may get us to go back to Fallout. That made me a little bit
Oh,
happy. Yeah, because we chose a kind of a time period and a setting where that they didn't really cover in any of the other materials, but now they are. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, so let's get started for this week. Good to see everybody in the chat. Kalarion, thanks for hanging with us for 4 hours last night, and let's get going with this week. Welcome to the weekly. I'm Jeremy.
yeah, Matt.
Hey, Matt. So Chris couldn't be
Hi.
with us this week, and Matt is very kind to co-host after sitting through 4 hours of Alien Earth discussion. So thank you so much. And this week on the weekly, so Invincible RPG, more licensed IPs for Free League, Cyberpunk Legends, a cooperative card game, Fallout RPG Royal Flush. So it's going to take us to New Vegas, which is where we were playing anyhow. So we'll actually get some official materials to help us return to Fallout, and the Warhammer Starter Bundle on Humble Bundle.
Mm.
All right. So again, Free League is continuing its trend of new products that are licensed IPs that I have zero interest in. So it started with The Walking Dead. I guess it's another Kirkman. Is that his name? Robert
Yeah.
Kirkman? Yeah, another Kirkman. You know, he's very overrated as a comic book writer. Walking Dead went to shit pretty fast, but it still went, like 80 issues or something. And I never read Invincible. I watched it was at Amazon or whatever the series was, and it was that Korean animation where everybody looks like vaguely Asian. So I got the gist of the story, and yeah, it's so the little blurb for this setting is 17-year-old Mark Grayson is just like every other guy his age, except that his father is Omni-Man, the most powerful superhero on the planet. As Mark develops powers of his own, he discovers his father's legacy may not be as heroic as it seems. So yeah, so they're saying that this is ushering in a new era of superhero RPGs. So yeah,
Is
and I
it?
guess this has kind of already been done. I mean, of course
Oh yeah.
this kind of story has been done, but even this kind of RPG where they're trying to work in like a social aspect, I think like Masks, that's powered by the Apocalypse setting, that did really well. Like your kids in high school, but your superpowers are manifesting. You're hiding them. You're trying to form your super group. You're trying to figure out. So there's a lot of social stuff in there. So that seemed to be the thing that I noticed. There's like tiers of power in this, so they rate people as being like unstoppable or very powerful, and then there's also you have these action scenes and then these social scenes with that, and that's where you like kind of replenish yourself. So yeah, it's the year zero system, so it's D6s and it should work. It should work well. I'm still holding out for, or I'm still more excited to try the Two Little Mice outgunned superhero version. That seems like they nailed some of the fun of that. But we have Marvel. We have an official Marvel, which I think is using kind of a D6 system, kind of a wacky D6 system, and yeah, things just keep coming out superheroes. So I was surprised that they decided to go with licensed IP, and maybe that's safer. If nobody has a real passion for superheroes in Sweden, it's probably better to just license a known setting that would have a built-in audience. And like we said before with licensed IPs, this maybe bring people to tabletop gaming if they're big Invincible fans and like, oh yeah, let's see what it's like to play in here. And Free League's going to do a good job. It's going to be a good-looking book. It's going to have a lot of great art in it, and the system should, be tweaked so that it feels interesting to play superheroes. So, what's your experience with Invincible, Matt?
I watched the first season. I don't know. I don't even know how many seasons there are because
Mm-hmm.
I pulled shoot on it. But we do have one guy. Actually, Andre.
Mm-hmm.
He's a huge comic guy. He likes the Invincible stuff a lot.
Nice.
But kind of like we were talking about before. I don't. It's nothing about it feels like super like new or
Mm-hmm.
different. I mean, I think the whole like bad superhero thing is been figured out and done.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
eh. But I mean, I love the Year Zero system, so
Mm-hmm.
maybe there's the same thing we said about Walking Dead, and
Yeah.
I never followed through.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's like maybe the system taken away from the property would be good. Who
Mm-hmm.
knows?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I still think that's probably true. I bet they did zombie survival horror really well, but it's Walking Dead.
Yeah.
And yeah, and this is going to be the same thing. Maybe they'll come up with a really interesting approach to powers, and like because already how they were discussing, you're going to be confronting something that's so much more powerful than you. It's just going to be able to throw a building at you that you're not going to be able to stop. So that kind of stuff is interesting. And they seem to break it down. They seem to break down like areas and stuff. Like it looks a little bit like tactical in a way. And there's zones and
Mm.
things, and there's destruction that can happen in zones. And so, yeah, they're definitely taking advantage of the setting. And so they're going to do of course their limited deluxe like they usually do, but it's going to be a single hardcover rule book. And so everything in there that you need to start, they'll do a deluxe version as well. And of course, there'll be all kinds of other fun extras. I don't see if they're doing a starter set. Sometimes they'll do that. They'll do like a core rule book and a starter set, and the starter set will be like kind of truncated rules, but it'll have dice and some more accessories
Mhm.
in it. But yeah, they'll hit all the all the classics. Yeah, I think there are custom dice as usual. Oh, and I think there's even a comic specific to this. I think they're doing like
Mm.
some sort of like comic or graphic novel specific to this that'll kind of get you in. But I wouldn't mind if they did some original stuff.
Mm.
If they did covered another genre with their kind of original take. Because I thought that was interesting what they were doing with things like Tales from the Loop, because it was inspired by something, but it was their kind of take on how you would run in that. We're just kind of an inspiration, like they were using
Mhm.
illustration
Yeah.
and some text as inspiration, not licensing an IP and putting their game in the setting. But there's a link
Yeah, when
to
they
yeah.
oh, I was just gonna say when they do license stuff, they really kind of lock themselves into stuff
Yes,
creatively, and
and maybe there's a time limit. Yeah, yeah, and there may even be like a
yeah.
ticking clock on it, because you never know. Because if Invincible is finished as far as a comic, and I'm not sure, I haven't followed it enough. And Kirkman always like goes off the rails anyhow, so there's no there's no reason to keep following his stuff. But um, if it's an ongoing thing, then yeah, to include stuff that hasn't been written yet, they're going to have to probably renew the license like they did with Alien. So we'll see. Yeah, there's really a two-edged or double-edged sword. License IP stuff. You get that built-in audience, but you are restricted. You're getting you have to have everything approved, and you're restricted to what you can use. And yeah, it's creativity within like pretty restrictive boundaries and approval cycles. But it does say the Kickstarter, they've already unlocked things like bonus standees. So there is a starter set. So there'll be a starter set and then digital accessories as well. I think more and more people are including that. I wonder, because Free League is already working with, but maybe not with the licensed IPs. They're already working with Alchemy. But I don't know if any of the licensed stuff can get on there. But
Really, box sets though are usually they're usually a step above. Like they're usually
mhm,
the whole game
Yes.
with a bunch of cool stuff instead of the typical starter where it's like you said truncated.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so there's maps and things, maps and standees. So yeah, I think they are going to, and maybe because they're kind of doing that with Dragonbane as well. You know, kind of letting you put it on the table on a grid, and and probably with superhero combat, you'll want something a little bit more tactical, not just
You
yeah,
do.
yeah.
That's actually, you had mentioned the outgun one. That is my one concern with that one is that like I feel like superhero stuff, if you want it to feel like you're really superheroes fighting in an environment, you need it to be a little bit more
Mm-hmm.
crunchy, you know?
Yeah, not all theater of the mind, and yeah, yeah. No, that's true. And it sounds like they're doing that. There was some discussion on the Kickstarter page of zones, like destructible zones, and zones that have no protection and nothing to throw. So we'll see.
Well,
Yeah.
they turned Year Zero into a very tactical combat for Twilight 2000 when they
Hmm.
did that. So
Yeah.
I'm sure they can do a good version.
Yeah. No, that's very true. Yes. All right. So yeah, link in the description, and that one is on Kickstarter. I guess Free League has got a good relationship. They get lots of promotion, so they're not leaving Kickstarter. But another thing that jumped out at me because I'm an old Netrunner fan, and this is connected to the Telsarian RPG and setting, Cyberpunk Legends Into the Night. So Night City is a place of chrome and dreams. So this is going to be kind of early days, kind of the legends and then kind of named characters of Cyberpunk, but they're more origin stories in very early times. The video for the crowdfunding for this, so this is a cooperative card game where you're kind of building characters and it's narrative. So you're going through storylines and kind of facing puzzles and enemies and situations that are very thematic to the setting, and also tell the story of these young legends. I'm sure Johnny Silverhand is in there somewhere, and all the early characters that were created for the cyberpunk setting. This started out as a pandemic project that the designer was working on, just something to play with friends once they could get together again. But then he knew the creator of Cyberpunk, and he showed off I think at some convention, showed off the system and said, let's do this as Cyberpunk. And so that's how this was born. So yeah, I'd like to play a nice, Cyberpunk themed card game again. And Chris is all in. So I'll order this off and we'll see how fast it gets here. It's supposed to be fulfilled next summer. And if you reserve now, I think, if you applied in advance, there was some a foiled Johnny Silverhand special card that you could reserve. But this is an official. This is the official setting. This is like an officially licensed by our Telsarian. And the other thing that they said is what created the expense and why they took it to crowdfunding. And what's going to take the time is they're investing in all real art. So there's not going to be any AI, bullshit art. Even though that you could get away with saying that's thematic for Cyberpunk, but they are paying artists, and it looks really good. Everything that they do, a lot of it's digitally painted, but that older painted kind of cyberpunk 80s RPG style. So there's some really fun evocative art in there. The base set is going to be 300 cards with 3 complete scenarios, story, encounter, and obstacle cards. Going through the whole story, the character classes. So it's very much like a GM-less RPG because you're building a character. You're building a character as a deck, and then you're playing through a story. So Nomad, Netrunner, Solo, Rocker, and are the classes, and then you'll have avatar cards, which will represent your health, damage, and leader tokens are included. So they're saying game anytime, anywhere, no lengthy rules, no pre-writing, no character sheets, no dice, just cards plus your friends. And that's what the designer kept emphasizing, is they wanted something because people were frustrated with the big rule book, reading big rule books to play an RPG, but they're also frustrated with the setup time for big board games. So all the time investment he wanted to eliminate. So, zero prep, quick to the table, but still, fun RPG, role playing with some, card mechanics in there, what they were trying to do. So open the box, get to the action from session 1. The simple mechanics would take just 5 minutes to learn. So, Yeah, no AI is the pledge on here, and thick warp resistant cards, premium production printing with gloss and foil designs on select cards, and they're doing expansions as well. And they said this is a thing that they plan on continuing to do releases for, because it is narrative. So you're going to eventually run out of run out of story. So they're going to keep releasing story packs and continuing the narrative version. But they said there's also going to be kind of a roguelike version that you can play, where you just go as you it's less story and just like battling in as far as you can or running as hard as you can at a specific objective. So there will be ways to play if you have finished the story, but they do intend to be releasing this as a continuing storyline. So if that sounds interesting, support it and get them some financing so they can keep releasing stuff. So yeah, that was fun to see. I saw a little blurb about this, and immediately, I don't know if it was on a Facebook group or whatever, but everyone was like, I've never heard of these people. Who the hell is this? They're not going to be capable of fulfilling anything. But this is directly tied to Artasarian. So, and they're going to have some guidance. It's just not some guy. They're doing this for the first time. They've got some cooperation. But, famous last words. This will probably be the one project that I never see, that never ships and I never see. But
yeah, but as Kickstarter games go, the simplest ones are the card games. I mean, the easiest ones to get made and fulfilled. I mean, Will did one, for crying out loud.
yeah, right.
So it's like, it'll probably be fine.
Yeah, and worst comes to worst with this kind of stuff, depending on how far they've gotten, they can just do, sorry, we fucked up. We can't actually make cards. Here's a print and play. Here's PDFs. Print your own cards. We're sorry. That's hopefully. Worst case scenario is they'll send you some digital, print and play materials. But
it sounds like
looks fun. Yeah.
It sounds like they kind of want to do a living card game format.
Yeah,
if they're going to release story packs.
Yeah.
Are they gonna? Did they say anything about? Are they gonna expect to kickstart those too?
No, they didn't.
That could be bad.
Right. No, they were saying like every few months they were expecting to do another release. So I think these are going to be smaller sets of cards that you just include in, like, just continue the story. So I don't think they're going to keep crowdfunding, but it depends, and it depends on the success. And they may get to the point where they're releasing these story things, they're not making a lot of money, so they go back to crowdfunding and try to put all those story cards together again. We'll have to see what kind of and the only thing, the art looks great, but you have to really like red because the cards are super red borders, red, everything is so red. So hopefully the art will still look good but like red is very red and black in the card design.
Are they incorporating the video game stuff into it at all, or just strictly the
not yet
Artasarian
yeah
stuff?
the video game is 2077, and this is actually going to be before 2020. Is it Cyberpunk 2020? Yeah, this is actually like the early days, so maybe 2019 or whatever, I don't know.
They're going all the way back.
Yeah, they're going very early origins of Night City. Yeah. So meet your favorite up and comers and explore Night City, the roots of Cyberpunk. Yeah. So they must have gotten some. That must have been the hook that got everybody all in at Artasarian on supporting this. So yeah, I'm interested to see in a light rule system, something cooperative Cyberpunk will be fun. And I like that setting. I really want to, once the official Night City 2077 stuff comes out, I'd really like to try to run that. Cyberpunk, because I like that setting. I played in that game enough that I kind of know that setting enough in the character, so it should be pretty fun to flesh that out and have you guys get up to some shenanigans in there.
Yeah, I ran the old Cyberpunk. I guess it probably wasn't first edition. Was it second edition? I'm not sure. But in the 90s, I ran it for a while. It was fun.
Good.
I'm curious to see what you guys will have to definitely report how it goes.
Yes. When
you play, because I have a very hit and miss experience with cooperative games.
Oh yeah. No,
it's true. Like some cooperative games are great, and then some of them are just one person playing the game and the other people moving pieces around.
Yes.
Yeah.
You
that's why. Yeah. The alpha player problem. Like, I'm always on the bad side of this with my local group because I hate pandemic because pandemic is literally just you can math most of it.
Right, right.
So there's always one person who will say we got to go here and this is why we got to go here and I don't care what you guys think, and it's just, well, this isn't a game. This is you doing a puzzle and
Right,
us
right.
just pushing stuff around.
Yeah,
And
you get over there with your doctoring skills, and you get over there with your scientist skills, and we're gonna beat this thing. Yeah, no, I think
mm-hmm.
that's very true. But a lot of times that also means that then cooperative stuff lends itself for solo play, because you can just play multiple characters. So we'll see. But
For
yeah,
sure.
that is something to always be aware of. And if the rules are simple enough, then there's not going to be anybody that's like second guessing everything. Hopefully it'll just be problems to solve within the story. So unless you play the story before, you're all going to be on equal ground. But I think you're right. That is a very very big challenge, and that can even bleed into RPGs, dungeon crawling RPGs, where people are just like barking orders, thief, go
Oh yeah.
scout, the cleric cast,
Hmm.
protection. Okay, you got somebody that's like calling the shots because mathematically that's what you would do. All right.
Fortunately, in a role playing game, we can just tell each other to shut up.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That helps a lot. All right. And speaking of a role playing game that may be going to hell for us because of where we left off, the Fallout role playing game, Fallout RPG, is getting a new supplement, a new expansion for the Mojave and New Vegas, which coincidentally is where we've been playing. So we kind of abandoned the default Fallout 4 setting and went with New Vegas, and we had some fun. Had some fun in there, but not any. And this will help me a lot because I think we were headed to the casino. We were headed to the hotel casino. So if they've got stuff fleshed out, this will make it a lot easier for me to get you guys up to capers in the basement of that casino, whatever was going on there. And so this will be a nice to have some official supplements and some extra statted out NPCs and stuff. But yes, Fallout New Vegas Royal Flush is the expansion. So good luck, kid. So the very popular Fallout 2 era Fallout New Vegas was the popular expansion. And I think because it wasn't it wasn't made by the original studio. But this is nice that they're going to give us all of this. Yes, this was the X Black Isle folks at Obsidian that did Fallout New Vegas that everybody fell in love with it because it was much more fun, the kind of crazy things that were happening, and there was they just dug really deep into the desert setting and had a lot of fun with what could happen. And I guess the TV show is going there too, right? So the Amazon series this next
Hmm.
season is going to be in New Vegas. So good timing, Modifius.
Yeah, I doubt it's a coincidence.
Wait a minute. Yeah. Yeah. So that's good. That's good that we're in sync. So, so the RPG will be going to the New Vegas setting, and they're trying to, get everything included, as mapping out the Sierras and the Mojave. New Reno from Fallout 2 and New Vegas are all going to be included. So this will be a campaign book which will takes place in the run-up to the Second Battle of Hoover Dam, where the threat of war. So I think we're playing after that. So I might have to do a little bit of adjusting. But yeah, this will be the run-up to that because we already have the results. We have no Mr. Hand. Like a lot of people have been taken out of the picture when we did our world building. So characters will stumble into an accelerationist plan that wants to plunge the wasteland into chaos. So the blurb from the website is the Mojave isn't just a desert, it's a blasted frontier of dust, danger, and stubborn survivors clinging to the bones of the old world. Out here, every crumbling highway hides secrets, every settlement fights to keep raiders at bay, and every sunrise promises another struggle to survive until nightfall. So this is all leading up. The Great War might be history, but the Mojave has never stopped being a battlefield. So yeah, should be fun. So it'll add Followers of the Apocalypse as a playable class, Viper Initiates, and Enclave Remnants as playable new character origins. and it's going to be a big another one of the and it's for levels 1 to 21. So yeah, we can fit in there very easily. They're giving you a whole range, so you can like start your characters out. So 240 pages, full color, nice hardcover books like Modifius does. The main quest line and then side quests to stop an accelerationist plot that seeks to plunge the wasteland into a brand new war, a host of new NPCs, the 3 new character origins that we talked about, and then new rules for harsh desert environments, gambling, encounter generation, and vehicles. All right. So this, of course, it's not a standalone product, so it's going to require the Fallout core book or the starter set at least to get you in there and playing. And there's great, as we've proven, there's great assets for in alchemy for Fallout, the Fallout RPG. So pick those up if you're interested. They did a bundle a while ago, and they were just kind of kicking around. And then when we were thinking about what to do for a game, Fallout jumped out at us. So it's a lot of bullet counting and a lot of junk collecting, just like the video game. They replicated that pretty well. We're worried about calibers of ammunition, like you find bullets that you can't use and all that good stuff. But it should be fun. This will give us some, and I was doing the same kind of thing I was doing in Dune, just kind of pulling pieces out of different adventures that they'd done for Fallout. So that's nice. I can modify this, and we'll have a more authentic New Vegas experience. All right.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back to that someday too.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good fun. It's wacky enough. With our aliens and everything. Yeah. We did have aliens in the desert. But speaking of bundles, the last thing I want to talk about is a Warhammer bundles. I'm not talking about Warhammer too much, but this looked really fun. If you're interested in anything that Cubicle 7's been up to, this is probably the best way to be able to try out all the different games and the different parts of the 40K world and the fantasy world that you'd be interested in. So bring glory to the Imperium. There is a Warhammer RPG starter bundle by Cubicle 7. And so for it's $27.50 is the highest tier, but that gives you 29 items. And that's going to be adventures for the Age of Sigmar Soulbound adventure, the Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, so the Reichland source books, the core book for everything, Game Master screens, and you also get the core book for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, but also the starter set. And I think the starter set is a good introduction to kind of learn the mechanics. It's got a lot of pre-made stuff, and the physical starter set has nice dice in it and everything. They did a nice job with that. This also will include Wrath and Glory, which is the other 40K setting where they kind of restrict you to part of the Imperium. You're kind of trapped in this limited sandbox, but you can play most of the kind of starting classes in 40K. So it looks like Age of Sigmar, Soulbound, Wrath and Glory, and Warhammer Fantasy, but all the starting material, basically all the early stuff that they've been producing for those games, and also the Imperium Maledictum. So that's the more like Hive world. You're playing more. It's closer to like Dark Heresy. You're playing the kind of lower level. I don't think Inquisitors, but like people below that. Then you're just kind of forced to be solving. It's more mystery and detection, kind of like the Inquisitor novels are. You're more of a detective for the Imperium, for the Emperor, with lots of power to make people do what you want. But so everything for those 4 settings to get you started. If you were curious about them and you wanted a taste of how they play, but no sign of the old world. I don't think that's out yet. And also, this will give you a 25% coupon for the Cubicle 7 web store. But remember, that doesn't include pre-order stuff and doesn't include any of their limited edition stuff. So it's just, if you want some physical books for what you just got a PDF for, that might come in handy. But they're typical kind of tiers. The I think it's like a $5 for the first tier, gives you just a few of those books to get you started. And but like I said, $27.50 gives you all 29 items. And I'll put a link in the description. And if you do end up picking up this bundle, it helps the channel. So we get a little reward for anything. It's like an affiliate link. So So if you like what we're doing, and it doesn't cost you anything, but it gives us a little perk, check out the Warhammer starter bundle from Humble Bundle, supporting the Children's Health Foundation, because they always have a charity that they split the proceeds with. So that is
There's
gonna do it for this week. Yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say it's a really good bundle.
Hmm.
Like, but because the Warhammer Fantasy I know so well, what I was really looking for, the two things I was looking for aren't there.
Hmm.
The one you mentioned, the Old World,
Hmm.
because that's the new one. I'd like to get a
Yes.
look at that. But the other one, and I'm looking on their website right now, and they've really banished it.
Oh, yeah.
Is Rogue Trader. Um,
Hmm.
it's in a separate little section called the Warhammer Vault,
Yeah.
and like it has non-clickable links
Oh
now,
no.
and
Yeah, that core book itself, I think, is like people are paying like $300, $400, $500 depending on the condition, because they inherited that from Fantasy Flight, so they have the rights to
Mhm.
produce it digitally. But I don't think they're going to reprint that book. So that physical book is along with Dark Heresy Second Edition and a lot of those not fighting, not final Fantasy Flight. A lot of those Fantasy Flight licensed Warhammer things are well sought after, and I think there all D100. But yeah, yeah, I like that Rogue
Yeah.
Trader. But I think we should play Rogue Trader though with the Warlock sci-fi rules. I can't remember what their sci-fi version is,
Oh
but
yeah,
they
we can
they
totally
did
do
that
that.
same thing that they did with Warhammer Fantasy. Is they made like fighting fantasy rule set that you could play Rogue Trader in. Yeah, so that would be fun.
Nice. Yeah, because for me personally,
Hmm.
I mean, any of the 40K games would probably be fine for like a one shot kind
Hmm.
of thing. But if I was going to play multiple times, the only one that makes sense to me personally is Rogue Trader.
Oh yeah.
Like the other ones, 40K for the most part is you just kill everyone.
Right.
And and Rogue Trader actually seems to give you, actual role play stuff to
Oh
do,
yeah. Yeah, because
So
you
that
got.
was the one I was always interested in.
Yeah, definitely. No, I had a collection of uh the novels, the Rogue Trader novels that were released, and they were really interesting. Like they had, a continuing crew and characters, and so there's always someone that has the writ from the emperor that uses that, basically like the rich kid or the noble or whatever that has the ship, and everybody else is the
Mm.
crew, and like his arrogance, his or her arrogance can kind of carry you through. But then you're dealing with things like the warp and everything, and you're going out to these worlds that are like,
Hmm.
fuck the emperor, and like, yeah, there's a lot of really fun stuff to be
And
had.
the Rogue Trader ships are massive,
Hmm. Hmm.
and they talk about how you can kind of play it almost like Dune. You can have like sort of ship commander kind of stuff going on, but then
Nice.
also like local team going down to negotiate or whatever, and like
Nice.
yeah, it just seems like a much more better role playing opportunity than
Hmm.
most of the Warhammer 40K stuff.
Right, right. Yeah, and you're not going to be running into Space Marines, basically. That's the thing that I think, either you want to play Space Marines or you don't want to see any of them because they're just wrecking machines. If you see a Space Marine, that's your last day on Earth,
Yeah,
probably.
yeah, yeah. Oh, but you
Nice.
could have fun ones where like you're the rogue trader, you're hired to transport some space
Hmm.
marines, and
Oh, yeah.
all hell breaks loose kind of thing.
Yes, yes. Very cool. Yes. So take a look for all the stuff we talked about in the links on this description to see what's going on with the crowdfunding and this Humble Bundle. And that'll be it for this week. So, Matt, where can people find you?
I'm on Instagram and Blue Sky. It's at Hargold, HAARGALD. Where just right now, I'm just posting like crazy these two humble bundles.
Mm, nice.
The one you featured, and then there's the Goodman Games X Crawl humble
Oh,
bundle,
yeah, yeah.
and also their Goodman Games is having a 50% off all their Linkmar material, which is some pretty awesome stuff. So I already ordered that, but I posted it on my social too. I'm gonna try to talk more about gaming on there. That's my
Nice.
new plan.
All
How
right.
about you?
All right. So I am not able to sit up long enough to draw on a live stream, so I'm still a few weeks away from doing my cartoon stream. But I did do some cartoons, so you can check out Abuse Cartoons on YouTube and Twitch. I'll eventually get back to a live streaming schedule. If you want to read my cartoon, it's a single panel gag cartoon I've been doing since the early 2000s, and you can find that on gocomics.com/domestic abuse. And yeah, it's thousands of those things. There's a link in the description. But if you like what we're doing here with the weekly, consider becoming a weekling. And you can still, until the end of September, do that for free. So visit patreon.com/upturntable. You can sign up for free as a free member, and then upgrade with the link to become a weekling. We'll give you 3 months of weeklingness. You can check out the RSS feed where the podcast goes, as well as our 4-hour discussion of Alien Earth. All kinds of stuff to listen to on there. Audiobooks, lore videos, all kinds of stuff. And that's where the bigger productions go first in either the membership of YouTube or Patreon. And there's also a Patreon community discussion chat and everything. We'll put links to different stuff that comes up, giveaways and all that good stuff as they become available. But thank you for watching Upturn Table on all social media. We'll be back again next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Back. So Matt and I were just discussing stuff we didn't get a chance to mention this week. So one of those was the X-Crawl bundle. I guess we mentioned that at the end, but also a crowdfunder on Kickstarter for Great Helm. And this was something that Chris was interested in. So I didn't bring it up this week because I thought it'd be fun to discuss with Chris, but who knows when we'll get a chance. We might have to do an emergency live stream. But Great Helm is a miniature skirmish game. The original setting is knights. You either have a sword, like a one-handed weapon and a shield, or a two-handed weapon, and all your characters in your warband are knights. You have 6 of those, and you're playing on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. It's all D6s, so you're measuring, you're moving inches. You've got movement, but you roll d6s, I think, equal to the number of knights you still have on the battlefield plus some other stat, so maybe a few more than that. So all of the results correspond to specific actions. So you can only attack with ones and twos, but the person that gets to go first is the person that rolled the most sixes, and 6 is basically charge. So you can spend a die on a model and get them to charge down the battlefield, and then if you have any ones or twos, then they can use that for an attack, or you can follow up. Oh, are we still online? OBS just said it disconnected.
Your voice was cutting out for a minute.
Oh, yeah,
but it
yeah,
seems
yeah.
to be
Oh,
back.
sorry. Yeah, I'm lagging again. My internet looks like it's dying again. Okay, there. It looks like we're back.
So
Yeah.
I was looking at their Kickstarter, and I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm just getting grumpy about pricing,
Uh-huh.
but this seems like such a simple idea that
Hmm.
I think you said it came from like a contest or
Yeah,
something.
like a challenge. Yeah, design challenge. Yeah.
Challenge, yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
and they want $20 for just a PDF.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. I mean, I was getting like one page rule vibes when you're
Yeah.
describing it, but then it's like $20.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been getting a lot of I guess Chris said she was following the designer for a while on social media, and this project has been kind of brewing for a while, and it's getting a lot of support. People have wanted to play test it and see how it's going. So yeah, there's a ton of pictures on social media of people building their little boards, and somebody in Germany like was making like a terrain, really heavy terrain boards and putting like wooden frames around them and magnetizing them. And so there's a lot of like energy going into what they're doing with this. And it looks like they're also going to do some kind of reskins. They're going to do like a Japanese version and then a fantasy version, and the fantasy version will include like magic, casting and different characters other than
Oh,
knights. But yeah,
okay,
you're
that'd
right.
be fun.
I've been noticing though on crowdfunding, the price of everything is just, oh, come on. I was looking
Yeah.
at Pathfinder Quest because I really like that Pathfinder adventure card game. And so they're doing a Pathfinder Quest, kind of a tile crawling, kind of Warhammer Quest in the Pathfinder universe. And just the basic box is like $100. There's nothing in it. It's just cardboard. So like,
Yeah.
okay, and but they're working with Titan Forge, so they're doing an STL level as well. So you could buy the basic box for $100 and then print the miniatures. But yeah, so it goes from $3 for just the being involved in the project to $100 for the all cardboard standee starter sets. I'm like, God damn, things are getting pricey in crowdfunding land.
Actually, this is no rulers, right?
Yeah, I don't think I don't. I think they have. I'm not sure if they're even doing like exclusive dice or anything. I think it's just the rule set.
No, but I mean, like, you don't need rulers. They're not measuring anything.
Oh, for Great Helm. I'm not sure. I think you might need to because it's like there's. I guess you may have to measure because it's not grid. Like you're not playing in a grid, so you might have to measure. So a charge will be like 6 inches plus. So you probably have to because there's a 2-inch move, a charge move, and then like I think a regular advance that you can spend from
Oh,
a
is
dice.
there? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you will be
Darn
doing
it.
yeah.
Because I was like, I could get Will to play it if it doesn't have rulers.
Right, right. You probably could adapt it to a grid without too much trouble. As long as like because 6-inch squares would be probably correspond pretty well. So you could do inches, inch
You
squares
know if
and
it has
keep it.
facing rules?
Oh, I didn't see. Yeah, I was just read mostly about the initiative, the D6 kind of.
Because you could just overlay hexes over print
Mm-hmm.
too, and
Mm-hmm.
then
Yeah,
just
yeah,
use hexes.
yeah. That's true. Yeah. So, yeah. That's something
Oh,
we
here it
may.
is. Yeah, rulers.
Uh, so we may end up talking about that in the future. I think if you check Hive Mind's social media, there's probably some pictures of some knights that she painted on there. But yeah, we'll see. So yeah, so Lankmar is on sale. Anything else you've had your eye on as far as crowdfunding stuff or any upcoming releases?
Now I'm kind of looking at this, but
Mm.
No, I've been really reeling it in, trying to curb my spending.
Yeah.
Damn it, Goodman Games, you got me.
They
Uh,
got you.
because I'm holding out for Broken Empires, man,
Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
I'm still convinced it's going to be awesome,
Oh
but
yeah. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait.
I don't know when I'm gonna see it.
Yeah, that's the case with everything. It's yeah, getting really hard to just because we've had enough experience now with crowdfunding, and so it's possible it could be 3 or 4 years out. Like that's not insane for a crowdfunder to like ship, a couple of years late, so you're waiting 3 or 4 years for them to fulfill something. I had some of those heartbreakers. Siege of the Citadel comes to mind, and the
uh,
Trudvang adventure game took a while too. Oh, and it just got kind of disappointing update for the Gloomhaven RPG. They looked at the book. They said we can do better. So they're going back to the drawing board a little bit and doing some revising, some making the book look better, kind of tightening it up, which I appreciate because the book that came out for the Dark Tower, so when Restoration Games did the revised Dark Tower game, another studio did an RPG version using their system, their in-house system as that. And the quality of that RPG book is just garbage. They use these Mickey Mouse fonts for titling and stuff that are almost unreadable, that have like, no kerning whatsoever. It's a real amateur shit show. They use the beautiful art, of course, from the Dark Tower Revisited or Dark Tower Returns board game. So they had nice art assets, but the layout of the book was just done by somebody's nephew or something. It was really bad. So I appreciate it if because Gloomhaven products always look nice. The Cephalofair does nice looking products, so it's good that they said, yeah, this isn't up to our standard, but that does mean they're going back to the back to the design phase, redesigning the layouts on some of these pages and tweaking some rules and bringing it back. So it's going to be a while
are
before we
you
see that one.
are you a big Gloomhaven fan?
I played a lot of the digital version. I like the
Hmm.
it's interesting and different enough with the kind of the races and the classes and how magic and stuff works. It's fun. So I'm curious. So right away, that was the one thing that was really tempting. I didn't get a revised, didn't want a revised version of the giant board game that I already have. But I like the setting, and I think they did it. They did a very interesting take in the kind of classes and races. So I wanted to see how that worked in an RPG. I didn't think it was going to be so hard to do, but because there is, those kind of cooperative tile-based games, there is so much kind of role play already in there that I wanted to see what they would do with the actual rule set, an RPG rule set.
Yeah, yeah. We have a guy in our group that really likes those kind of co-op dungeon crawly kind of
Hmm.
games, like Gloomhaven, and he's bought a bunch of them. I can't even keep them all straight anymore because we play them like once and then
Yeah.
never again.
Right, right, right.
And Gloomhaven seemed okay, but I don't
Hmm.
know. I don't know if there's like a line for me. It's really
Hmm.
weird. There's like a line with board games like that where I'm like, man, we could just be playing a role playing game right
Right, right,
now.
right.
It's kind of weird. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, no, it does. And then there's a lot of like narrative and role play that actually just kind of emerges from playing a board game. And yeah, then you're thinking, well, why are we doing this? Why aren't we why aren't we just playing
Yeah.
a role playing game and telling a more interesting story? Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Something funny I'm looking at on Kickstarter right now. And
Hmm.
this will help you think about why Freely goes to these licensed
Oh,
properties so much.
yeah, yeah.
So that household Kickstarter has 15 hours left,
Hmm.
and they've barely cracked 100 grand.
Oh, yeah, yeah. But that's a
Invincible has
kind of a
20 days
yeah,
left,
yeah.
and it's over 300 grand.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that household was kind of a double dip though, because they haven't even fulfilled their previous, the volume
True,
two.
true.
Yeah, so they were just kind of like trying to get while they were still producing stuff. I think they were trying to get the up the numbers a little bit, maybe lower the production price, per unit. But yeah, 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 definitely. I mean, it's just because I think instantly that Invincible RPG was like 200,000. It was just like boom, 200,000. So yeah, Free League knows what they're doing, and they're making interesting choices, like choosing kind of indie comics. You know, they're not going for real big mainstream stuff. So choosing like Walking Dead and Invincible are more interesting choices. I think like as opposed to like a company like Mantic, where they went in with some odd, they went for Halo and they went for Umbrella Academy. This is these odd or kind of random IPs, and Worms, the video game. They when with some odd IP stuff. That just seems kind of random, and whereas the Free League stuff seems more considered. But I don't know. Yeah, they're going to lose the license someday. There's going to be, or if it's it may not even be worth having. So and then they're going to be clearing it out, and it's not going to be available anymore. But hopefully, what they're doing though is designing a finished game. That's, I think, the most important part when they do these IP things. Like, of course, you can create supplements and you keep adding to stuff that's in the setting that hasn't been covered, but the book that they produce will always be playable, hopefully. And so if you do like that IP and you buy into it, it's it's going to be usable forever. It will never kind of not be relevant or be outdone somehow. Yeah.
There's the 48-page quick start is free on drive-through.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah. That's how I went through the rules kind of quick. That's how I saw like the social scenes and stuff. Yeah, we could give it a shot. I don't know. I don't know that setting well enough to make it very interesting.
Yeah.
I fear.
Yeah, well,
But yeah, it'd be fun. It'd be fun to just superhero game wise see how that plays. I'd be curious with all of that stuff. I really am interested in like how the Marvel game plays, how Outgunned is going to play, and then what they decided to do with Invincible. But I think there's a lot of whining and complaining and hating your dad in Invincible.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. Like, if we're gonna do teen angst kind of stuff, I think I'd rather play. Which one is the freely? Is it the Flood or the other one? That's teenagers.
Oh yeah. Things from the Flood. Yeah. The kind of Tales from the Loop.
Is that the
later.
teenager one?
Yeah.
Or is it the other one? There's a third one I'm blanking on right now, but the Tales from the Loop, the Flood or whatever it's called.
Things from the Flood.
There's one other one, and I'm blanking on what it is right now.
Oh, you mean the electric? The Electric State?
Oh, Electric State. Thank you.
That's right. The one that made such a crappy Netflix movie. That really turned me off. Like,
Still haven't watched it.
Oof, yeah, it's not good. It's just weird, and it really like made me think, oh, maybe the setting isn't that interesting because the images, the illustrations, and a little bit of the text from the original art book are interesting, and you seem like, oh, that might be a fun world to play in. Once Hollywood and the Russos got their hands on it, they pretty much took anything that looked like fun out of it for me. I don't want to play with wacky, abandoned, like, Mr. Peanut and all that kind of nonsense in a shopping mall, or, well, I don't know what's going on. Yeah, very, very uninteresting. They just really crushed. They didn't inspire you to want to play in that world. They just made it like, oh, this is just like a Chris Pratt thing, and it's dumb. Yeah.
Yeah, you're never selling me if your male lead is Chris Pratt. I'm just like, oh, really? That's the way you went, huh?
Yeah.
So my brother and I always have this argument because he's a Tom Cruise fan, and my thing with Tom Cruise is always like, whenever I watch a Tom Cruise movie, my reaction is usually, this is pretty good. Imagine how much better it would be without Tom Cruise.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like the Reacher movies, like Tom Cruise as Jack Reacher is pretty funny. So yeah, I had that thought right away. It's like, wow, this would be a fun story if it wasn't Tom Cruise. If it wasn't tiny Tom Cruise, like barely coming up to the tall enough to use a payphone. It should be the hulking guy from the Amazon series. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's in some fairly serious stuff sometimes, and it's like, yeah, you're one of those movie stars who just shows up as a movie star, and you lose a little something when you go that route with your movie.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, that's definitely yeah. He's like kind of a relic of a bygone age where it's just like, oh, here's Tom Cruise being a spy, and here's Tom Cruise being a spaceman, and here's Tom Cruise, yeah,
mm,
because like Humphrey Bogart or Cary Grant, like you weren't like
yeah,
completely lost in
yeah.
the characters that they were able to weave.
My favorite Tom Cruise uh, is when he's wearing the all the makeup and he's the angry producer guy in Tropic Thunder.
Tropic Thunder, yeah, he's good in Magnolia. I like him in Magnolia, where he's that like Tony Robbins kind of character with the dying dad.
Uh,
Yeah, that's a pretty good performance because
oh,
he can do that like watery eyed intensity. Well, and Magnolia is like such a great movie. So he was surprising because there was a lot of other really talented kind of more character actors in there, and so it's nice to see him be a wacky character. Yeah.
Clarion said in the chat, hopefully Blade Runner 2099 is good. And I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
god, I'm so nervous about that one.
Yeah, so because we're already 79 introduced replicants having kids. So if we get to 99, is that just going to be a thing? Is there just going to be like colonies of replicants that have been reproducing this whole time? Yeah, we'll have to see.
I don't know. I mean, I think it could be good. I think
Hmm.
if they're careful with it, they have to go one of two ways.
Mm.
They either got to lean into the classic noir detective thing again,
Right, right.
which which could be good, or they could do more like the Alien Earth thing, where it's like, well, we're not really we're going to do more world building, and
Hmm.
go another way with this. But if it's just some half-ass wannabe Ghost in the Shell or something,
Yeah. Yeah, I saw somebody post in a forum that was just saying, "I wish there was an official Blade Runner RPG. I don't want to play Cyberpunk, the Cyberpunk RPG, but I really want to play Blade Runner." And it's like there is one. What the hell are you talking about? But this guy was convinced that Blade Runner is Cyberpunk. So you need a good Cyberpunk rule set to play in Blade Runner. And like Blade Runner is not Cyberpunk. There's zero cyber
yeah.
in Blade Runner. It's like that's such a weird misunderstanding that you get all the
It,
time with that setting.
yeah, it shares some themes with Cyberpunk
Hmm.
for sure,
And yeah,
but it's not the transhumanism thing is not really what they're talking about, and
right, right.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think like visually, like the Ridley Scott's like inspiration of like '80s Hong Kong, like cramming stuff in with ugly advertising and dirty streets and kind of like the layers of civilization. I think that became so connected to the cyberpunk setting and the cyberpunk aesthetic, but there's also cyber in there. There's also networks and
Hmm.
hacking and stuff. Nobody was hacking
Hmm.
anything. People were just kicking in doors in Blade Runner. Yeah.
Yeah, because Blade Runner does kind of like Alien. It does like retro future, like the technology just didn't progress the way in the directions we see in the real world or
Hmm.
we
Hmm.
envision for the future now.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's much more like atmospheric and not really obsessing on the technology too much.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah,
Um,
and I think we're really going to have to because I think that might have been one of the weird problems that I had with Alien Earth is there's like what Wi-Fi and Bluetooth like everywhere, and that doesn't exist really in Alien. Like you don't have people are like plugging in cables, and it's very very clunky and
yeah.
LCD monitors and stuff. It's very like not everything is very low grade, and so they keep confusing that because Prometheus, which happened before Alien, has like 3D models that you can spin and these projections of like when they go into the temple,
Oh,
they were tracking everybody and they had, so just a mess.
aesthetically, as cool looking as Prometheus was, it didn't mesh with Alien at
Hmm.
all. Like, I mean, that's just one of the many reasons people don't, they kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
talk about it like it's not an Alien movie.
Right.
Um, it had a neat look, like the ship, the interior of
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
ship, their costumes. There's one part where what's the synth's name? David.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he's wearing like that virtual helmet thing.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like yellow and it looks so like retro futuristic, like but not the same kind as 70s where it's like
Yeah.
the used universe.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
like the earlier like maybe like 50s
Right.
sci-fi kind of vibe.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I wonder if there's going to have to be, because a lot of that wireless stuff, everybody having like panels and heads up displays and wireless, that's a different kind of thing, and has there's a lot more freedom and a lot less limitation in that. So I think people are going to have to figure out how to make that interesting, because that's been a struggle, I think, for a while. Like movies that are incorporating like social media and people being on like social network platforms, they're popping up text chat bubbles on the screen,
Mm,
and you're reading someone's
mhm.
conversations and stuff. And no one's quite figured
Yeah.
out how to make that interesting and how to make that work. Like, payphones and wired technology has good limitations, and you can create drama and interesting,
Yeah.
conflict and situations. But when it's just like just grabbing information from the air or controlling everything in a facility with your, with your fingers and your mind because you've connected to the network, that doesn't work yet. Like it doesn't make any sense yet, and it changes the, I think that's why Wendy seemed like such a superhero. To add to our 4-hour discussion, that's why Wendy seemed like such a superhero, because they decided to go for that technology that she could, be in the network. Like, no, she has to plug something in her head, right? It's alien. Yeah, like remember when they brought Bishop back, when she's just like plugging in these big banana cables into his neck,
Yeah.
just like it was very low tech, very analog.
Yeah, that's got to be tough every time they redo one of these things after years have passed.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be tough to thread that needle
Mm-hmm.
because like
Mm-hmm.
even Blade Runner 2049 had some stuff that, like I think what's his name? The bad guy, the
Oh yeah,
corpo, what's his name?
yeah. The yeah, yeah. What's his face? Jared
That
Leto.
shitty actor, what's
Yeah,
it? Jerry Leto,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, he had the weird devices that let him see or
Mm-hmm.
whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and I think he and his goon lady were wearing like basically Bluetooth
Mm-hmm.
and then there was the whole thing where she's sitting in that chair
Getting her
and
nails done. Yeah,
linked to a satellite and like doing like orbital bombardments
on the
from a
scrappers and the
satellite.
scumbags in the junk
Yeah,
pile. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So that's definitely a little bit of a tech leap from
Right,
what we
right.
got to see in the original Blade Runner. But it didn't, it wasn't too much, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so Michelle Yeoh, I think, is like the main or one of the main
Oh,
characters.
I she's
Eh,
wonderful, but
And
come on, let her retire. Give her some peace.
yeah, yeah, I have no beef with her personally.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I freaking hated that Star Trek
Yeah, yeah.
series.
Yeah. She wore
And
me out in Star Trek.
everything I watch like that annoyed me so much. I watched like I watched Strange New Worlds, which I give a pass because it's pretty episodical and it's a little goofy, so I just kind of chuckle,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the Discovery, the first two seasons of Picard, they're just trying to be so like pew pew, like action, like the
Mm-hmm.
Abrams stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and like it's like, bleh.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I stopped watching all that stuff, and I just watch like if there's something new comes out, if Red Letter Media does it, I'll watch what they say about it
Right.
because I use them as like a filter.
Yeah, yeah.
And man, I don't know if you saw their video on that the little movie they made about the Star Trek spy agency
Mm-hmm.
Section 31 or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Oh, it sounded so bad. So bad.
Yeah, it's weird. That was the weird thing that I don't know what it was. Is like they were fanboying out to having Michelle Yeoh like working, available, and they were treating her like, like some diva. Oh, we have to like, let's just like, doll her up and give her some sexy cat suit, and like, it's like they were doing really weird stuff for Star Trek. Where you're like, please don't do this. It's not you didn't cast RuPaul. I mean, why are we doing this to poor Michelle Yeoh? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the very, very, very strange. But yeah, that's too bad that they're doing that, because then that also leans into like casting any Asian or having Asian characters in Blade Runner leads into that exoticism, Orientalism, that people criticize that original film for. The cyberpunk and I guess cyberpunk in general. So that that already becomes like, oh, okay, you're gonna have an Asian lead, then okay, opening that whole can of
Yeah,
worms.
it's a delicate thing, I know,
Hmm.
but I also know why. Like when Blade Runner was birthed and when Cyberpunk was birthed, everyone was sure that Japan was the height of
Yes.
technological development, and everyone just assumed that they were going to just kind of dominate the world,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
know? And for a little while, they kind of did, at least in commercial stuff, but
Hmm.
it didn't hold up.
No, no,
And
no. Yeah. Yeah, they conquered
uh,
like consumer electronics and cheap cars in the cheap car industry,
uh-huh,
but yeah, but that eventually
yeah.
went away. And portable tape players, Walkman was pretty huge.
But that was like the general assumption and vibe of those
Hmm.
eras when those things were created.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I get it, you know. Plus, as an '80s kid, I mean, come
Oh
on.
yeah.
You give me some old anime and some ninja movies, and then you throw cyberpunk into it.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, payday!
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's true. Well, and I think Michelle Yeoh is capable as an actor of being a complicated, detective, like a complicated Blade Runner. If she's going to be playing a Blade Runner, not some corpo or something, I think that would be interesting to see her being torn and alcoholic or whatever. Like similar to the Harrison Ford to the Deckard character.
So, and this goes back to your concern about how they were going to handle it being in the future.
Hmm.
She apparently, according to the summary I just looked at, is playing a synth near the or a Nexus, whatever,
Hmm. Hmm.
near the end of her
Oh.
life.
Hmm.
So, I mean, didn't they sort of crack that expiration date
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. That's true.
so I wonder what that's about.
Yeah, but maybe they are going to like basically say that they aren't immortal. They're, even though they created them the best that they could, the parts wear out. So yeah, they eventually start to
Yeah,
malfunction. So that might be the thing
like
that they
she's
they get into is like the, kind of what would senility look like in artificial people, like dementia. What would that look like as they mentally degraded? That could be interesting. I don't
oh, that
know.
could be, especially if they have oh yeah, if they have manufactured memories
Hmm. Hmm.
and then they get dementia, they're just not gonna have like as much to draw on. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be interesting.
Yeah. Do they have any showrunner or writer attached to it? Oh, aside from just Amazon,
Oh, let me
I don't
open
know
it
if it's
back up
anybody
again.
that
I
I'd
closed
even
it.
recommend. It's not. Don't. I mean, after Alien Earth, don't even bother getting your hopes up. They're just using the IP. They just want you to tune in every week because it says Blade Runner. It's not going to be anything you want to watch.
It says created by Silka Luisa. I don't know who that is.
Hmm.
And there are no other writers in this little summary credited,
Hmm.
which is really funny. It's really funny because
Oh, wait a
there's
minute.
13 executive producers listed.
Oh, good. Oh, I
That's a lot
remember.
of notes.
Yeah, I remember hearing about her. Yeah, she was a producer on that horrible Halo thing that where Master Chief immediately took his helmet off and then started
Oh,
having sex.
yeah. That
And
that pissed a lot of Halo fans
yeah,
off.
and Shining Girls. That was the thing that I never watched this, but yeah, that they said that yeah, her big credit was that Shining Girls series where she was the creator. It's an Apple TV show, Years after a brutal attack
Shining
in a
Girls?
constantly shifting reality, Kirby Mazarashi learns that the recent murder is linked to her assault. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, this is some.
Never heard of that one.
This is what she was known for. I guess that this is probably what they said she's capable of doing. Blade Runner, because it's a sci-fi. Yeah, they're calling it a sci-fi crime thriller. So, but that means it might be a little. It might have a kind of feminist bent. You never know. Anything that you get Elizabeth Moss to do now, like A Handmaid's Tale and Invisible Man, has to have a feminist bent, which Amazon loves. We'll see.
The Wilding. She did a movie called The Wilding. Never heard of that either.
Yeah, so I don't know. We're still in that phase where they haven't figured out how to move forward with anything. They're just recycling stuff, and hopefully you don't notice that it's not very good. But next year we're gonna be in 2099.
I'm not like crazy excited about it. I'm more worried about it,
Right. Yeah.
because I value the previous Blade Runner stuff. So
Yeah.
it's more of a concern than an excitement. I am excited about Neuromancer because Apple, whether you like something on Apple or not, you cannot deny that it's high quality,
Oh, yeah.
like production.
Yeah.
And
They
so,
throw
like,
lots of money at it. Yeah.
I feel like if anyone's going to visually do
Are
Cyberpunk
they telling
it'll be.
the story of the novel? Are they telling the story of the novel, or are they going to do? Okay, interesting.
Yeah, it's an adaptation.
What did you watch the what's his face the legal drama that originally was Harrison Ford as the attorney that they thought murdered his mistress. Was that Scott?
I don't think so.
Turo. So it was the that was like I think a 90s movie or whatever. But they with Jake Gyllenhaal, they remade the movie, and the ending. It's got like a twist ending. The ending of the movie, and the ending of the book, but they changed it. So what is it called? I can't remember. It was interesting. So they did an Apple series of it, and they changed who did it. They basically changed the twist in it so that you didn't see it coming, and it was interesting. So I wonder, like, if they would do the story, if they would do the Neuromancer story or whatever, they would do something like that. Presumed innocent, yeah, presumed innocent. So they did a streaming series, with that basic story, but with Jake Gyllenhaal instead, and it was very different.
I don't imagine they'll. I mean, you have to adapt it for TV, right? But I don't think they'll. Again, I feel like Apple plays things a little smarter. I think they care about quality more in general. So, like, I don't think they'll go crazy off the rails, but.
Yeah,
It's Graham Rowland and J.D. Dillard. I don't know who those people are.
Oh boy.
Prison Break and Lost.
What, really? That's like
I've seen Prison Break.
that's Fox stuff, right? Yeah. Wow.
J.D.
Interesting.
Dillard is a movie screenwriter who did Slight, Sweetheart, and Devotion. I
Give him
haven't seen
Neuromancer.
any of those, but yeah,
Yeah, and
at least Gibson's alive, so he can like.
yeah.
Hey!
But
that's not what I meant.
The book Neuromancer has a kind of a very different tone to it. Like the style of the writing and everything, I think it was very kind of new to that. So they do have to come up with something like visually, stylistically, like different and interesting to kind of match, the way that the characters talked and the way that like everything was represented. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. I don't know.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they're afraid, like they cut anything, like the space station Jamaicans.
Yeah,
Like
that's
with
true.
I don't feel like that's like politically incorrect, but maybe it is. It's hard to tell these days.
Yeah. Well, they did. Yeah, they did in the Cyberpunk, the 2077 game. They did the voodoo guys. They did that. The kind of Caribbean. Everyone had the Caribbean accent, and so yeah, they've done that where they've done. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see what. But I think they got criticism for that initially. Yeah, that game, because that was the Polish studio, the CD Project Red. They got a lot of criticism for transgender depictions and a lot of some race stuff in there. So yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see if Apple's like, oof, they're gonna have to try to dodge some bullets or yeah. Well, let's just not talk about that part of the book. I don't know.
I don't recognize the names of any of these actors. Let's see. Oh, except Andre DeShields. I know him. He's a Broadway actor. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We'll have to get you a copyright strike and do a discussion of that when it's over.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that just yeah. So anybody that was wondering what is this discussion you're talking about? It's currently in the member section of YouTube. I'll re-upload an audio version without the incriminating copyrighted video, which was paused, almost the whole time. But yeah, so I made it smaller and I put a big watermark over it, but it still was detected as moving video from a Disney product. So Disney claimed us. So yeah, I'll do some just still frames and audio, so you can at least hear that discussion in your earphones.
Is that a new development? Because I remember I've watched like episode breakdowns for like Disney Star Wars stuff, and they showed clips.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think I can fight it. I think I could, do the fair use claim, but it's only for the monetization. It's not a copyright strike, so it's not endangering the channel. It just means that you can't monetize the video. So if I just re-upload it with the audio only and some unrelated visuals, it'll serve the same purpose, and then it can be monetized. I don't think since it's not a copyright claim, it's not worth probably disputing, because I don't even know if things can go worse, because I know when you dispute strikes, they can become permanent. They can become
really?
much more severe. Yeah. So, but I'm just not going to. It's not enough to worry about. But you might be able to refute it, to just dispute the claim and say it's fair use. We're talking over it. There's no audio. There's a watermark on it. It doesn't serve as a replacement for the video from the streaming show. But they've even done that, though. They do that with trailers, too. And I think it's because they don't want you making money off of their trailer. They want to make the ad money on their trailer. So if people just put a trailer on their channel, they'll often get that struck. I don't know. But it's really hit or miss. And some companies like Sony and Disney suck. They're very sensitive to it. But other companies are like, yeah, please talk about our stuff. They let you, use clips and don't jump on.
I mean, if you're not just showing the whole damn thing, it's like word of mouth,
No, yeah, and what we did was definitely fair use, but the robots don't care. They don't measure anything. They just give you the instant demonetization.
So speaking of trailers. Did you watch the Mandalorian and Grogu trailer?
Oh, yeah. So
it looks like they're going a little cutesy with it.
And young. Yeah, it looks like they're trying to skew it younger. So it's probably going to be, it definitely is not going to have enough violence to be probably even PG-13. They want the kids in there to see Baby Yoda. They want to do a whole new series of plushy Baby Yoda toys. But the title is terrible, because I'm sure anybody that wasn't paying attention to that stuff, and that's a lot of people, are like, who the hell is Grogu? What's a Grogu?
Yeah. So the casual people are just like Baby Yoda.
Yeah, right. And so it's I don't know. It's weird. It's a really and the fact that they did kind of like a serial adventure font. It's almost like the Indiana Jones font that they wrote. Oh
yeah, they tried to make it like pulpy, like a pulp adventure kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody that doesn't resonate with Zoomers. They're not like, oh yeah, I love those old serials. Like what? What are you even talking about? Yeah. So it's weird. Yeah, they made it kind of retro and nostalgic for who? I guess the parents that are bringing the kids that like
I think
Baby Yoda.
for George Lucas, I think is the only
Yeah,
who's entertained by that. We know George Lucas loves that shit, but yeah,
yeah, yeah. And again,
yeah,
Sigourney Weaver's in there. Yeah, that's right.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. It might be okay, but
It's
Star Wars is such a weird place right
yeah,
now.
it's not going to revive any sort of interest, though. I mean, they're just cashing in. Instead of doing another season on streaming, they're just making a movie, and I don't think it's gonna. It'd be really surprising if that was like $1 billion movie. I think it's gonna just be like, meh, not Han Solo
Yeah,
like levels of failure, but it's not gonna. It's not
yeah.
gonna revitalize everyone's love of Star Wars.
Well, it's so strange because like that show started off, people were really
Oh
excited.
yeah,
And it had like that. It had a classic sort of episodical
yeah. It was like
formula,
kung
like
fu. Yeah, I mean, yeah. It was like
it's like
episode.
kung
Yeah,
fu and
yeah.
a western,
Right,
and
right.
yeah, like and then Dave Filoni, man, he
Yeah.
just he wants to be like a J.J. Abrams type guy and just keep interweaving all these different things and like he's already you can tell like yeah they're just gonna put this out, but he wants to get on to his stupid Thrawn reuniting the Rebels cast and all
Yeah.
that stuff,
Hmm,
and it's
hmm.
just like
Yeah, yeah. I
and
think.
I thought Ahsoka was pretty bad
Oh yeah,
overall,
yeah.
the show.
Yeah,
Like,
he's fine for Cartoon Network, but yeah, I don't think he should
yeah,
go anywhere
he
near.
can't direct humans.
Right,
Like
right.
he he's like George Lucas level of not getting how to direct humans.
Right, right.
Like there's so many problems with that show. Like
Hmm.
the fight choreography was terrible
Yes, yeah.
for the most part, especially if Ahsoka, who the show was named after, is involved, because then it was done at like half speed, like it was
Hmm.
all slow and crappy, and then like just how people reacted, like they go to another galaxy and just they find Ezra Bridger.
Hmm.
And Ezra Bridger's just like, "Hey, how you doing?" It's like, no, no, this should be like a insane, momentous moment, emotional moment for all of you.
Right, right,
Like, it's like, oh, Dave, what are you doing?
right. Yeah. And anything where you have to go back to any of that crappy, CG animation from Cartoon Network, it's just it's that writing was garbage. So it's really silly. All that stuff is so silly, and I just think Star Wars has a lot of problems with trying to. Is it a kids brand? Is it a old guy brand? Are they going to try to you know milk Hasbro kind of try to milk everybody with collectors items, or are they just going to try to reset it for the kids? Yeah, I don't know. No, it's not.
They
None of
should,
that is working.
yeah, they should just completely start over, separate from the Skywalker stuff and the Dave Filoni verse, and just
Right, right. But I don't think there's
go
anybody.
another direction.
Yeah.
And I don't think they can.
No, I don't think there's anybody with any inspiration or any kind of, because they would have to come up with some other kind of genres to kind of meld together and kind of, do something that felt new and but still kind of fit, within the Star Wars universe. I don't think there's anybody that could come up with that they would pay, that they would hire. There's people that could do it, but yeah, there's not anybody in Hollywood they're going to be dredging up to do something like that. There's just very little inspiration and so much, studio control. Like all of the that's why so many of the streaming series and I think a lot of the Marvel movies and stuff suck because they just send their little middle management to the set to just like be taking notes and saying we're not doing this, don't do this. That there's just so much back and
Yeah.
forth that just crushes anything that would even be creative or even the voice of a
Yeah.
specific director. They just take it all out. So it fits in the mill. Yeah, that was the thing. They're talking about the Doomsday. Like, so Doomsday has finished its, principal photography. They had a wrap on that. And so many of the
Mm.
actors are like, I don't know what movie I was in. I don't know what I was doing. You know, I was just wearing this suit with all this like tracking stuff on it, standing in
Oh,
a green, you know, a room with a green screen. And they said, okay, say this and say this and say this. So like basically voicing for a video game. They're like doing voice acting for a video game. They have no idea what their head's going to be put on, what their voice is going to be coming out of. The actors are just like,
that's
okay.
nuts. That's terrible. You can tell that's just like it's like one step away from what they really want, which is to just
Mm,
freaking AI
yeah.
generate
Yeah. Just scan
everything. And
everybody and yeah. AI
yeah,
generate their voices. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we're going to see that. We're going to see the desperate estates, you know, of like actors that have passed away. We're going to see the desperate grandchildren by who they allow to be completely, you know, like AI replicated
Oh
in
yeah,
entertainment. Like, oh, Sammy
yeah.
Davis Jr. is back. It's going to be really weird.
We're gonna get some John Wayne movies.
Right, right. Uh,
Ugh,
yeah,
ugh.
it'll be weird, very uncomfortable for a while. But maybe we'll be so old and demented we won't even notice, or it'll just be like a weird fever dream until we pass on.
Yeah. I'm afraid that might be the way it's headed, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think
Anyway,
actually, yeah, we may have all literally passed away in 2019, and we just haven't figured it out yet because that's why nothing is good. Nothing makes any sense.
we're all we're all just ghosts
Yeah,
now.
yeah. Or we've just been living in that last like few moments of like you know, brain activity that like seems like an eternity. You know, like we're like pretending we're on social media and everything. But yeah, no, actually, we've been dead this whole time.
That'd be kind of funny, actually. That'd be an interesting premise. Is like 99.9% of the world is dead and doesn't know it, like sort of Sixth Sense style.
Hmm.
And the crazy, like rambling homeless person you encounter
Hmm.
is alive and can see dead people,
Right.
including you. Oh, that'd be wild. That could be a fun story there.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Billions of ghosts.
Excellent. All right, so you ready for some more Call of Cthulhu, Matt? You want to see what
Yeah,
happens
looking
when you start
forward to it.
chanting in Latin?
The incident at Owl Creek Bridge, Clarion's just said.
Oh,
I don't know what that is. Is that related to what we were just
yeah, it might be.
saying?
Yeah, might be similar. Yeah, short story. Oh, by Ambrose Bierce. Oh, yeah, Ambrose Bierce. Right.
1890. Huh?
Wow. Oh, nice. Nice. Oh, it's even been. Yeah, there's even been a movie, a short film in a French film, short French film in 1961. Cool. Well, thanks. Yeah, we'll check that out. Thanks, Clarion. The Occurrence.
Oh, it's about a dead guy. I didn't know he's dead. It sounds like.
Yeah, yeah. Nice.
What if the whole world is dead and doesn't know it?
Excellent. All right. Well, yeah. I won't keep you another 4 hours, Matt. That was quite a night last night. So yeah, so that'll get re-uploaded to the channel. And before that, it'll go on. The audio will go on the RSS feed along with the audio from this live stream. So check out the Patreon for that. And yeah, we'll be back again soon. So come back tomorrow for some Call of Cthulhu, and we'll wrap up this adventure and see who holds on to sanity and who has
Ooh,
amazing
I don't got much
superpowers.
left.
Yes. You got to get some therapy before you start that ritual. All right. So take care, everyone, and thank you, all patrons and members on YouTube. And please, if you're interested in the Patreon, check out the free Patreon and our last few days of the free weekling tier, 3 months of weekling on Patreon. So take care. We'll see you again soon.
Bye.
Goodbye.